Hey everybody, Brendan here, and welcome back to the Leadership Library. I'm glad you made it today. Recently, I was having a great conversation with one of my fellow colleagues who's a VP of product over at one of the companies that's doing really interesting things with tech and marketplaces, the Amazons, the Microsofts, the Salesforces of the world. And he and I were just talking about the state of work currently, and our conversation led to a point where he expressed that he felt like his work was just too administrative and too repetitive, and it led to vanity metrics. And I said, wait, hold up. As you guys know, I've been talking a lot about Peter Drucker lately, getting back to my roots where I started with developing the motivational method and then realizing that Peter Drucker really connects well with Andy Grove and OKRs, because you can take people from working on just repetitive tasks to inspiring them when you're talking about things like always focusing on being customer centric, figuring out a vision for how do we translate the value of this solution in a way that will make sense for jobs to be done for customers or solving problems. And then you are able to motivate the team to work collectively towards achieving your mission or the initiative, because you can then deconstruct what seems like insurmountable amounts of work to get to the end goal, and you can distribute it across very talented team members. And in this way, you can empower and inspire people. You need to work with everybody to pull and learn about the same things so that you're working towards the same end goals and continuing to improve that, as well as you can really, as a 21st century leader, set things up with forums. So you're not just doing operational work. You have the ability to enhance the operational side. But remember, in tech especially, we're working in the idea marketplace. So the raw materials of what we really do are creative ideas. And then as leaders, we help people that we supervise to see how they can take a creative idea and take action on it through a framework that gets that work done and turns into outputs. When we use our legitimate power to facilitate empowerment of creative ideas, going from employees that have creative ideas because we give them one-on-one space to ideate directly with us, or we create safe forums for them to share their innovative, inspiring ideas with the group so that you can get collaboration and buy-in, or we create free thinking time where if your team can get to a breaking point many weeks on Friday, they can have the rest of the afternoon to explore innovative ideas for what might be coming next that they've thought of, and then celebrate them and give them credit for coming up with those new, latest, greatest ideas. When we do that, our leadership role, we're actually focusing more on the why does our creativity, our inspiration, and ultimately our innovation matter, rather than just focusing on what are we going to do and how are we going to do more of it, which is what leads to that slippery slope of vanity metrics. So when we focus our efforts around framing our work around why does it matter, we build a culture that gets better end results than framing everything around what, and how much. When we're able to do that, we go from creative ideas, processes to prioritize those creative ideas, processes that operationalize building those great ideas, and then strategies that take those great ideas to market and put them in the hands of customers. Actually, the way that I think about it is the thing that I came up with running for student council in 6th grade. It's this idea of asking people, where would you rather be? Would you rather be working and spending time, if you were required to spend time in this place, this institution, would you rather be here at a place that does these mundane things repetitively because you have to or because you're told to? Or would you rather come to a place that seeks to build a culture around why and weaving together a thread of why things are meaningful for individual people, where they can put their strengths on display and share those with one another, and we ultimately get to have a greater, more rewarding experience out of it. So if we have to be here, let's really make it great. That said, from a leadership perspective, let me ask you this. If you are working with people, have you ever noticed that you often see their work trending in a similar direction to your own experiences, to the extent that you can probably predict the outcomes, whether it's a good outcome that you're really excited to see one of your team members getting close to a new career achievement, or sometimes you see them going down the wrong path. When, as a leader, do you sit back and let things play out? And when do you go to them and say, hey, based on my experience, look at this? Or when do you really guide, coach, and mentor them to expedite or pursue a certain course of action? That's what I have for Leadership Library for this week. I really thank you for joining me here. And as always, stay creative, keep on building innovative stuff, and always work to make the world a better place.